In this tutorial, we're going to cover how to create an estimate or a sales order from an installation. So you're going to do this after the installs have been completed. So be sure to watch our tutorials on how to create an installation. So what we'll do is we're going to come in here and we're going to do a search. And when the search form opens up, this will be a list of all the installs that we've currently created. And I think I'm going to start with this one here. Now, this is an installation that was created using the typical installation items or parts, and not the actual part numbers. So, to show you what I'm referring to, we'll go to the product information. And you can see the part number is the actual install with the quantities and whatever. So we're going to start with this one. So to send this to an estimate or sales order, we'll come under the ordering tab here. And first thing we need to do is to load the products. And you'll have to click this each time. If I went back here and I made some changes, then I would have to click load products to get it to reload any changes that I made. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the estimate side, and that's this section right here. Over here is for a sales order. Just like on a door and hardware schedule, you can elect to send this to an existing estimate by clicking the drop down and selecting the estimate number, and then also the necessary revision in case there are multiple revisions for that particular estimate, and then you could send it to that estimate. Or to create a new estimate, we'll just leave it blank. And I can either go down here, and this is the estimate column right here. This one is for orders, sales orders. I can select just the ones that I want. Maybe I want just for installing the exit devices. And then I'll click send the estimate, and it'll create an estimate with just that one item. Or I can do multiple items. Or I can select everything, and if there's a lot of items, I could just check this box and it automatically selects everything. So once I've got the items selected, also up here there's a qualifications. And this will show up on the estimate. It says installation price includes labor only. Now you can change this, take it out, delete it, add to it, whatever you want to do. It's all up to you. So we'll just leave that in there for now. Now we're going to click send to estimate. It tells me it's going to send it. Do I want to continue? Say yes. And then now what it's going to do is it's going to open up the estimate. And we can take a look at it to make sure everything is correct in the way we need it. Now here you can see we have got there's the job name and the customer. There is no contact name. Now this would actually come from, we come back over here. See, this actually is blank. If I would have selected this before I created that install, it would have included this information in the estimate. So keep an eye on that before you send anything over. And if I select it now, I would have to resave it to make sure it saves that data. Alright, so we're back over here. Now, once the estimate opens, we only have the one customer. If there are other customers bidding it, then I can select them now. Let's say this guy here, add to the list. And just like any other estimate, I can add however many customers I want. So just make sure everything is correct the way you need it, taxable and everything else. And now we can come under product information and take a look on how the items have all been installed on this estimate. Now, when it goes to an estimate, they're all going to be under labor and installation. That does not send them to any other type of estimate. So make sure you have labor and installation active. If for whatever reason you deactivated it or made it inactive, so it's no longer in the list, go back to Manage Type or Estimate Types and add this back, because this is where it's going to go. If you can't click on this labor and installation, you're not going to be able to see the items. They will not show up. So there we have the items added to the estimate, total price down here and everything. If I have to edit any one of these, just like any other estimate, I just double click that line. It'll open up here. I can then make changes. Maybe I want to change the quantity, whatever I want to do. And then go ahead and we'll save it back to the estimate. So once everything looks okay, you can come over here to Customer Ship To. We'll take a look at what the actual estimate will look like. We'll do the standard first. And a standard estimate will look like this. Now, if I had other estimates, or if this was an existing estimate and I had other like hardware or doors or whatever, they would also show up on here. So if I was selling material also and doing the installation, I could have everything on one estimate with a separate section just for the labor. So there's that note I mentioned, installation price includes labor only, which you can change if needed. Okay, so let's take a look at total only. Total only, just like any other estimate, leaves this section blank, and it only has the price at the very end for the job totals. And then we have an itemized. And there's the itemized, where it actually shows the quantity, number of hours, and keep in mind these are all approximate times and hours. With the totals for each one, or the subtotal, let's say, for each one. All right, and of course you have itemized with notes. If there were any notes, there weren't any notes on this one, so they won't even show up. Let's see what else we have. Okay, now you can, from this point, you can go to the ordering tab here from this estimate and send these items to a sales order. So you wouldn't have to necessarily do it from the install app or form. So I could send these to a sales order for right here, or even a purchase order. If some reason you need to write POs for labor. So I could do that right from here. The other option is from the install itself. Oh, okay, I guess I made a change with that, adding that user in. Now we can go to ordering. Okay, so now we can send this to a sales order. And over here is the section for that. If I have an existing sales order I want to add these to, I would put the order number, sales order number, in this box. And then either selectively select which ones, or select them all. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to check those. This column here for orders. And then once I'm ready, I click Send to Order. Leave it blank to create a new sales order. And it'll open up the sales order so we can take a look at it to make sure everything is correct. And there we go. So you can see, make sure all the information here is what you need. Go into product information, take a look, make sure everything looks okay. And there's our items. Now at this point, if needed, I could install the actual parts. So let's say that for the hinges, maybe I want to supply the hinges also. So we'll say Hager, or whoever's hinge it might be, doesn't matter. Hinges, let's say they're all BB1279, 4.5, 26D, and there were 600 of those, so I'll put 600 here. And this is the list price for those hinges with a discount. That's the total cost. This is the markup. Now, one thing you want to be careful of, let me clear these out. Let's say I edited one of these. You can see when I pull up one of these items, it uses a special account type with a 0% markup, which you can change if needed. That's all up to you. But typically that's what it would be. This is your hourly charge, so there is no markup needed unless you want to. That's, like I said, it's up to you. So let's say we send this stuff back. You can see we still have markup of 0 here. So if I come over here now and I want to add a hinge, the actual part to sell, always check that you have the correct discount, because with the labor, it's a net discount. So if I'm adding a part, I want to make sure I've got the correct part discount. And then you want to make sure that of course you will want to mark this up. Typically that's what you always do. So you can either type your markup in here. Let's say you want 50%. And that generates a new retail price. Or you can select one of the standards like contractor, which I believe is 120%, and it recalculates the cost. So now I can add this part here with this new markup. So always be aware of these two items here before you add a new part. Make sure everything's correct. So we'll click Save Part. Oh, we need a quantity. And there's 600, or whatever quantity it is. If I got a bunch of 1279s, plain bearing, I could add those too. We'll keep it all simple. We'll add that part number. And there you can see, now we have the actual part number showing that we're going to supply that also. And there's our new total. Okay, so that's using this. Now let's go over to the other. Yeah, I'm done with this one. Oh, one more thing I want to point out. If for whatever reason I need to create a new estimate or new sales order, then I can just click this button here, Clear Estimate Number, and it'll clear out this number, and I can create a whole new estimate using these same items. And the same way with a sales order. So keep that in mind if you ever have to create a new order. Okay, so let's close this, and we'll take a look at the other type of install. Which I think is this one here. Now this one should be using the actual part numbers instead of the install part numbers that are available. So we'll go into product information, and you'll notice when this comes up that the actual part number is going to be used right here, and it has the word install hyphen in front of the part number. Again, this is to differentiate on an estimate or sales order that this is for installing only this part number. It doesn't mean it's not for the actual part number itself. Okay, so it's going to work pretty much the same, but I want to show you just a little bit of a difference here. We'll click on Load Products. Go ahead and select all. Send it to an estimate. Say okay, yes. Okay. Under product information, and again, these are all going to be under labor and installation, so you need to make sure that's available. If you have any issues with that, let us know. We can take care of it for you. And there are the items. Now, if I want to add on an estimate, if I want to add the actual parts, and since this is all hardware, I'd have to go to hardware right here and add the actual part numbers. So that was, say, Hager, hinge, BB1279, 26D, and I think there were 600 of them. Make sure everything over here is correct, markup and discounts, and we'll add that to the list. I think there were some Hager locks. I think that's what they were, and say there's 300 of them. Save part. And there were some panics too, but we're not going to add those right now, just so I can show you what happens on an estimate. So we've added the actual parts. We're going to be actually supplying this material plus the installation. We'll come back over here and do a view. Now you can see we have a section for hardware with the locks and the hinges, and then the part for labor down here. And again, the total only and itemized are all going to work the exact same as before. It's not going to be any different. Okay, and everything else on this estimate works the same as any other estimate. So if you have any questions on that, be sure to watch those tutorials. And okay, let's get out of here. Sales order is going to be pretty much the same. Let's go ahead and select all. We'll send it to an order. Okay. And again, these are going to be added as labor only items on the sales order. Under product information. And there it is. There's the items to install. So again, if I have to edit something, I double click it like any other sales order, make whatever changes I need to it, and then add it back. Now, if I want to supply the actual material, I would just come up here and, like under locks, I could select the actual lock itself. But if I leave this box checked, it's going to add it as another install item. So you need to make sure you uncheck this. And you can see the discount now is using that discount for the lock itself. So now we have just the part number. We have the regular discount. And let's make sure that came in there correctly. Okay, I'm sorry. We did have to reselect the part because I had the installation part pulled up. So you want to make sure the list price is correct. Let's try that again. Let's clear out these fields. We'll double click this guy. It adds with the net discount. That's the price and everything. We'll save the part so it's added back. Now we'll come back in. I'll just go ahead and reselect locks. And, or no, yeah, we're on locks. So we're doing this 2510. So you can see it did not reload the actual list price. we need to reselect it again. I'm sorry. It's not using the list price because I still have this box checked over here. So I need to uncheck this and then reselect the price. Because if I leave that checked, it's always going to use this hourly rate, or the hourly rate that was here. So now I need to reselect the part, and now it reloads the proper list price. Discounts it from there. And again, I need to adjust my markup, whatever it might be, and now I can add the part. Oh, we need a quantity. I think there were, what? Looks like 295 of those. 295, save part. And now you can see I've got the installation and the actual part number for the lock on this sales order with the new total down here. So, but again, make sure if you're changing between one or the other on these, your discount and your markups are what you need for that item. So just be aware of each one of those. And if you want to add a new install item, just check this box first. And you can see that will automatically load a net discount for that vendor, and brings up the install type and rate and everything box as needed. So now we can add another lock if needed. Let's say we'll do this guy here, and maybe we got 5 of these. So that should give us a total of 500 locks, or 300 rather. And I'm sorry, this is for an installation. So you can see it's using the install with the hourly rate and the amount of time. So when I save this, I'll have a new install line item added to the sales order right there. Again, that's for an installation only. And of course, if you want to view it, look at a customer copy, it's going to look like any other sales order. But again, it's going to reference the word install to make sure that only the item being installed is for installation only. And this would be the actual part number here. Okay, that should take care of that. Now, let's say we have an install from a door and hardware schedule that we want to send to an existing estimate or sales order. So let's go back to search. And I have an install here. I know this is from a door and hardware schedule, so I'm going to go ahead and open this one. And it's from, so that loads up here. It's from this door and hardware schedule here, this number 417, 24-hour door, Circle K. So all the doors, frames, and hardware, they're on this door and hardware schedule. Are going to be on, are in this under the products. It's going to be part of this install, which we've already created from that schedule. All right, now we're going to go over to the ordering tab, load the products. So now, if I want to create an estimate, but let's say I already have an estimate for that schedule. If we come over here under this door and hardware schedule, go under ordering, you can see there's an estimate that's already been created, 12708, and all of these items. Let's go ahead and we'll open up that estimate. 12708 right here. Double click it. We'll open this one up. And under product information, we look at hardware. This is all the hardware from that door and hardware schedule. And hollow metal, same thing. And I believe there's some wood doors on it. But you can see we have nothing under labor and installation yet. So that's blank. So that's our total right now for this whole schedule for doors, frames, and hardware on material only. So if we want to add the labor to this, or I can create a new one either way, but we're going to add it to this. So I'm going to go ahead and close this because these estimates have to be closed before you send anything to an estimate. All right, so we're going to go ahead, we'll just select everything. Say we're going to install all these items. And that was 12708 was the estimate number. So I come down to that estimate number. I'll select it. I don't think there's any revisions, so we'll leave that at 0. So now what I want to do is send this to that estimate, to an existing estimate. And we'll let that load. And when it's completed, now if you have a lot of items, you might want to give this several minutes to load everything in to that estimate. So now it's going to open up the estimate. We can take a look to make sure everything looks correct. Look at product. And now you can see our price has gone up. So we should still have all the hardware, hollow metal, and wood doors in here, but now we should now have the installation. And there's all the install items. And that's the total for this installation. And again, if we want to, I'm not going to do them all, we'll just do a standard. Generate the estimate, see what it looks like. So you have hollow metal, wood doors, hardware. That's the total for the hardware. And then the labor and installation right here. Okay, I don't know if anybody caught that, but when I pulled up that estimate, it had a different total than what this section here is saying we had for labor and installation. If anything like that happens, just when you're in this part, just click Save Estimate and let it resave everything that's in here, because it'll go through and actually total everything up again. And then come back over here. If we view the estimate again, we should have the correct total this time. Yep, right there. So that's the correct total. So just keep that in mind. If anything doesn't look right, just resave that section and then try it again. But we'll take a look at it at our end to see if what happened in the process somewhere along the line it did something. So, but it'll be taken care of. But anyway, the thing is, you can still correct it just by saving the estimate. All right. I believe that should cover everything. Everything else will be the same as far as creating an estimate or sales order. It's not going to be any different, so I'm not going to bother going through all that again. So this is how you're going to create an estimate or sales order from an installation. So if you have any questions, issues, or suggestions even on this whole process, please give us a call or email and let us know. Otherwise, this should cover it. So I want to have everybody have a great day, and thanks for listening.